Do we have a chat? Do we have a blast off meme? By the way, I gotta do a blast off real quick as well. Oh, you got one. Thank you. I think Felix is on tomorrow. I Loki, I haven't asked Felix if he wanted to come on. I should hit him up. I'll ask him. I think Will's supposed to be on. I haven't really hit up anybody. I'm not gonna lie. I'm very bad with this stuff because I'm working on a million different things at the same time. I'm also a bad person in general. So
bad person.
Yeah, bad person, bad to communicate with. Why no brace? I don't know. I could hit him up too.
He's chained to a radiator right now.
Yeah.
This guy's basement.
Yeah, Ross Glick chained him to a radiator and is not doing sex crimes because he doesn't do that. As his legal as he said in his legal note, his legally binding note. Because if you write on I feel like that statement, having any legal authority, is like assuming, how like what do you call it? Like old people will think like
the Rome Statute.
We'll post. Yeah, we'll post something and be like, this is inadmissible in court. Like, I do not allow, like, everything I say here cannot be stolen by Mark Zuckerberg or whatever. And they write that legal post. Like, that's what he did.
That's also legally correct and real.
Yeah. As my lawyer, what is this? What the hell is this? Super good morning. It's One Piece Day. Oh, because One Piece is coming out, I think, soon. But yeah, no, I posted the setup earlier, and I was in my underwear, so people are posting hog, which I wasn't posting.
You posted it though.
I was not posting Schmeat. I was just posting the setup. And if you look there, if you look at the Schmeat in that situation, it's your fault, and it's not my fault. You know what I mean? It's like you looked at it, and now you're making it my problem. You know what I mean? My eyes are up here, type shit. Oh my god! I just realized I'm doing the thing like, is this what women do when they have big breasts and then they will wear like a low cut cleavage dress and then if you accidentally cop a peek?
I'm not touching that.
Yeah, come on, go ahead.
I'm not touching that.
Come on, let's get it. We did anti-Semitism. Do a little bit of misogyny. Do a little bit of misogyny. Come on. I'm trying to get you canceled so you lose your job again.
I'm doing enough on my own to get canceled every day.
What are you doing?
I don't want everything that I do every day. Just being alive.
Okay, cool. Are you okay? Are you feel
great.
a little?
Israel is.
You seem kind of sad today.
I'm sad every day.
Yeah, you have extra soft boy sadness today. What's wrong? What's going on? Do you want me to get you room service?
I don't want to talk about it. What do you mean?
Okay. All right. Well, everything's gonna be all right. Tell Lolo I said thank you for the bank run call. Oh, you called him up?
Yeah, so I found out that actually you can get in trouble
for saying it's a
bank run.
Yeah, I don't know why people thought that wouldn't be the case.
I didn't know that was not allowed. I thought we were goofing around.
No, you can definitely. It's like there's a couple things that you can't do, like electioneering.
No, you're allowed to do that.
No, you're allowed to do that if you're Elon Musk.
Yeah,
but you can't be like, hey guys, the election is not on the day it's actually at, and you should let people know, is like directly an illegal thing to do.
Well, what if you do it as like a silly little goof, like a little.
I think, ironically, contrary to what Elon Musk has stated, I think comedy has never been more illegal. Like, quite literally, comedy and other things on top of comedy have all become completely illegal under the Trump administration.
Yeah. I have a piece coming out in The Nation this week about assassination discourse and jokes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Are you gonna wokely say we shouldn't do it?
No, that's not what I say.
Are you gonna say we need more of it?
That's also not what I say.
You're like, I'm Alex Lowell overruled. And
I'm right in the middle.
As an attorney that passed the bar in the state of New York and can do legal counsel across the board in many other states, right? Because there's parity, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm here to tell you, assassinations are cool. We need more of them.
Yeah.
Is that what you wrote?
No, that's not what I wrote.
Okay, that's yeah. All right. Well, that's a little disappointing because that's
What I wrote is
because that's
fun.
what you told me.
And we're all participating in it.
That's what you told me.
Well, you
in
have
private.
to read the fucking. Why don't you read? How about you read?
I don't know how to read.
It's only 1,500 words.
I've never so many words. I don't know how to read, nor do I know how to write. I'm gonna freestyle the speech that I'm gonna be giving.
Are you really?
Yeah.
You didn't write anything?
No.
Not even top line?
No, I have a structure in my mind about what I want to talk about.
What are you gonna talk about?
Basic
male genital mutilation.
Yeah, basic stuff about how Israel is our most valuable ally, and also, you know, anti-Semitism is really on the rise right now because even on my walk over here, I saw so many people wearing keffiyehs, which is basically a swastika, actually worse than a swastika. And that, yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm gonna get up there and do a full John Hagee speech. Yeah, I'm in DC.
How much would AIPAC pay you to do that, you think?
I think they would.
$1 million?
I don't think.
Or they don't even care about you?
I don't think they care about. I mean, they probably do. I don't think it's AIPAC that cares, because all these organizations do, you know, have funders that are the same guy half the time.
Yeah.
Like the Al Jazeera lobby documentary that they stopped from releasing. What was the guy's name? He's like, there's like one dude who basically funds the Canary mission. And then there's like a front operation for the Canary mission. Some of these institutions also get Knesset grants as well.
I feel like you're not even on Canary mission, are you?
I don't know.
I don't think you are.
I mean, but like, what are they gonna do? Post my fucking docs? It's like, yeah, just Google it, I guess. The fuck? I have this.
Canary mission feels like it's mostly just.
Wait, hold on 1 second. Chat. How do I? There's the classic thing where Google Chrome switches automatically to YouTube because of because of malware. How do I delete that malware? Do you know?
What have you been watching?
Porn. Yeah. It's like a common malware on Google Chrome. It's like, I think, an extension malware thing that automatically changes the. It basically re-downloads this fucking extension all the goddamn time, and I don't even. Yeah.
It's all breast milk related.
Yeah. What? What is what? What are you saying? The fuck are you saying,
said,
bro?
yeah.
Read aloud, text to speech. Maybe that's the malware that's like fucked up. I don't know. All extensions, BTTV, Google Docs offline, uBlock Origin Lite. Yeah, I know. Himbo Derek guy is using my merch to dunk on people. I know. Getting malware in 2025. Download Mozilla Firefox. Never mind. I'm not gonna say anything. I can't delete a malware extension that keeps changing my browser to Yahoo. There's a program called Digital Activity that hijacks my Chrome on a daily basis and changes my search engine to Yahoo. I used to be able to turn it off and delete the program and manually switch.
This is such a good stream. This is fucking sick. The guys at the Best Buy like Genius Squad are gonna love this shit.
They do. Chat does unironically love that shit. Chat is all over this garbage. This is their favorite type of garbage shit to do. It's not even a joke.
They're all telling you to download Firefox.
Yeah. They're fucking annoying. That's their favorite thing to do. Their favorite thing to do is basically come in here and annoy me endlessly. Are you ready for the new world order? This is stuck in my head. How have the tariffs been for you?
They've been great.
Are you enjoying the revitalization of the American economy? Are you feeling liberated?
Dip. I've been buying the dip.
Have you been feeling liberated?
I've been investing in microchips and bananas. It's been huge.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a big year for me.
Yeah, it's gonna be. It's
for
a big
guy
year.
Like me, it doesn't really matter. You know what I mean? Because like, my net worth is just constantly $0.
Yeah.
All times, my net worth is $0. So
yeah.
Line goes up, line goes down. My life stays pretty much the same. I mean, things get more expensive, so.
That's what I was saying. I feel like there is like, weirdly enough. Look, I don't do anything on the stock market either. So it's like, oh man.
You put your money. It's all in Pokemon cards or something.
Yeah.
Logan Paul style.
Yeah, I put all of it in Pokemon cards.
You have a lot of Funko Pops.
Yeah. No, I just usually I spend it on my family, and then what remains.
Why don't you spend it on your good old
and then
pal
and then
me?
and then a 401k is basically what it is. But I don't even check that shit because I don't give a fuck. What am I gonna do? You know. But for me, the way I see it, I feel like people are obviously terrified of the cost of goods going up for no discernible reason. But outside of that, like there is at least I feel a little bit of weird catharsis seeing so many like rich people and so many people in finance lose their fucking minds over it. Where
I don't
it's
understand
like,
though. Didn't they know that this was gonna happen?
yeah, they're the experts.
Idiots.
They're the fucking experts. I don't know how they didn't see this from a mile away.
Also, it seems like Trump thinks that the way a tariff works is that the countries pay, like us.
Yeah.
That's not how tariffs work.
No, that's how it works. Yeah.
That's not how it works, though. You know?
No, that's you're wrong.
That's not how it works.
Why are you sitting on camera with just a shirt on and no pants like Donald Duck? Why are you Donald Ducking with your friend next to you? What the fuck? Straight to El Salvador scumbag Donald Duck ass. I don't know what's going on with this guy. Who's the barista next to you? Did you just fart?
No, it's the fucking
Oh my
chair.
god, do it again. Nope, that sounds totally different.
That's the chair.
Chat, he's farting. He's farting straight up.
It's the chair.
Oh my god, March is past. I feel so bad.
This is also entirely your fault and totally avoidable, by the way.
Why? How?
Because you took a red eye. Why the fuck would you take a red eye?
What do you mean? Because I had to stream the day prior.
You could have come a couple days ago. I said to come to New York. You flew into fucking DC.
But there's no part of this story where I don't take a red eye. Because if I don't take a red eye, that means I don't stream one of the days. So it's not going to happen. Dude really brings his guests on stream just for them to fart. I know. Do we have a playlist, by the way? We can do a little bit of React stuff as well. But before we go out there. But wait, what was I gonna Google? There was something I was gonna. You asked me what my speech was gonna be about.
Oh, yeah.
All jokes aside, I'm basically gonna talk about how we don't let white supremacists dictate the terms of black liberation. We don't let all lives matter take control of the conversation when people are saying Black Lives Matter. And I think allowing Zionists to dominate the conversation. Allowing Zionists to dominate the conversation of Palestinian emancipation is also ridiculous in that exact same vein. And I'm gonna talk about how like people's insecurities about defending this apartheid state that is currently doing a genocide should not be at the forefront. That should not be the cause that erodes the First Amendment in this country, and the erosion of due process is truly terrifying. It spells disorder, and that when all is said and done, Israel's still a pariah state, and everyone is waking up to the reality that Allah has awakened the people.
Oh, hell yeah.
That Israel has hypnotized the world. That's what I'm going to do. Click my user card. Click this. Oh, thank you. So... yeah, the protest is not actually starting at 1, and also we're not going to go directly at 1. It's technically supposed to start right now, but we're not going right now. But yeah, we're going to be there in a little bit. I don't know. I'm just going to go up there and say, I'm going to go up there and say, I love what everybody's doing. I didn't prepare anything, and...
but you're preparing right now, so you're a liar, actually.
But I'm not preparing. I'm just gonna fucking freestyle. But I think it's gonna be maybe not so great. My speech.
It'll be great.
But yeah.
You should just do the Gettysburg Address.
Israel is current.
Okay. Well, sure. I'm scared to protest because my wife's a green card holder and we traveled to visit family. Yeah, they're not gonna. It's fine to be scared for your wife, but you're not. If you're an American citizen, you're fine. Okay. Also, don't make sure you don't show anything because the camera's like super. Just making sure.
I wasn't doing anything.
Okay, I'm just letting you know. Use AI to make your speech. Yeah, I'm gonna get up there and say, I'm going to get up there and sing Red Sun in the Sky.
Currently enacting its final solution on the Palestinian people in Gaza. After numerous ceasefire violations on March 18th, Israel finally unilaterally ended it with a record-breaking...
Yeah.
I feel bad.
I linked them up. I linked my lawyer up with Noah.
Child-killing massacre. Since then, Israel has killed over 1,000 Palestinian people.
In trouble. I don't think what he's in it could be considered trouble.
He's just scared.
The irony of everything is that Ethan sent a cease and desist to Noah for his YouTube video where he details how Ethan Klein and many other content creators, including Mudahar, have played a role in defending Israel's genocide, right? Intentionally, unintentionally, doesn't matter. Ethan was like, how dare you? How dare you make a YouTube video about me? I'm gonna sue you. But he didn't actually do that. He just fucking sent him a cease and desist because I think he also understands that there's not, I mean, this is like a ridiculous, this is ridiculous to do.
I mean, a cease and desist is a scare tactic. It always is.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that there can't be further like legal process beyond that. Obviously, we live in the most litigious nation probably in the world.
Yeah.
But they are meant to freak people out.
Yeah, the lawyer lobby.
You know, I mean,
that's why we need
everyone who posts worth their salt has received a cease and desist order before. Have you ever gotten one? It's because you're a pussy.
Well, let's just say I got I'm not gonna say anything,
okay.
but I would like to not reveal, but it wasn't. Let's say it wasn't a civil cease and desist.
Sure.
But yes, I have gotten visited before. But what I was saying is, what I was talking about was, he did this cease and desist. He might still try to like do this, long, convoluted, expensive process of litigation to bury him in paperwork and try to engage in this like war of attrition, but. Looking at the cease and desist in and of itself, there was really no bones in it at all. There was no meat. Like it was just nothing. There was nothing in it. So I linked Noah up with Alex, but it's just so fucking stupid. Can you read it? What do you mean? But the reason why I thought it was funny is because the lawyer that sent that cease and desist is like, he says he's like famous for anti-slap litigation. Well, Ethan's legal team, just recently had their appeal denied because he was being sued by another person that he apparently, maybe allegedly, I don't know, was defaming, saying that this guy, who's like a billionaire, was engaging in a Ponzi scheme. So this dude sued him, and then he hit the counter slap, and then the counter slap didn't work, and then he appealed it, and then the appeal didn't work, so now he might be cooked. And it's the same fucking lawyer that is working on that and also simultaneously doing cease and desist for Noah. Weird world we live in. My point is, maybe you shouldn't engage in this kind of stuff. That's all I'm saying. Maybe you shouldn't be fucking constantly getting litigious. But yeah. Why are you being quiet?
I have no thoughts. I just don't want to get fucking sued.
Okay. Oh yeah. But that's what it is. This is literally the thing. Like, no, you're demonstrating. You are
don't want to get sued.
In real time demonstrating how the chilling effect works, which is precisely the reason why there are anti-slap laws in place.
Yeah.
Where if you try to stop someone from exercising their First Amendment rights with frivolous litigation, you can punish that person. But no one wants to do it because it's too much paperwork, it's too much money. Like, no, everyone is like understandably fearful of wealthy people who are crazy enough to just like go the distance, even if they might lose in the process. And it's very, very annoying. Anyway, but Noah's in DC as well.
It has bombed schools, shelters, medical clinics, residential buildings, and water treatment plants. Israel is summarily executing paramedics, decapitating babies, and destroying everything in its wake. Israel is also once again invading Gaza and establishing mass killing fields. All of these crimes are being committed with weapons from the United States, impunity from the international community, and silence from the Western media. There's no end in sight, and things are only set to get worse unless people do something to stop it. There's a protest tomorrow, Saturday, April 5th, at the White House. It starts at 1 p.m. Eastern Time on Pennsylvania and 3rd Street, which is right here, right outside the White House. It's pretty hard to miss. This protest has been endorsed by over 200 organizations across the United States, and it's supposed to be huge. If you live nearby, show up. There are a bunch of buses available from all sorts of cities, and many of them still have seats. If the buses in your area are full or unavailable, you can sign up to drive your own vehicle and bring others with you. If you do have a vehicle and are able to drive it and have room, please do that. I live across the country, but last minute decided to fly so I can be there tomorrow in hopes that this might encourage some of you to join. Go to marchforpalestine.org/bus or click the link in the description.
Yeah, so that's the reason why we're here. Meanwhile, while this is happening...
How many protesters did you pay to be here? 1,000?
Yeah. I am George Soros.
Yeah.
Like,
How much you pay each
I was like, I'm the Muslim Soros. Like, why is there no Muslim George Soros?
It's
you know what I mean? I'm the puppeteer. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Hasanabi, Hamasabi, you already know. Yeah, I paid everybody to get here.
Not well.
Yeah, no. You didn't like the Hamas fruit basket I sent you?
No, I didn't like it.
No. MBS if he went woke and DEI.
Cantaloupe.
Yeah.
It was just all cantaloupe.
Yeah, I'm sorry. You got the shitty end of the stick. My bad. Fly me out, Hassan. There's still time. Yeah, I'm good, man. So there's also a lot of protests that are happening, like hands-off protests that are happening all around the country. But that one is like the more liberal version, I think. I'm a little bit confused about this. So this march is specifically about Palestine, right? Mm-hmm. And whatever anxieties and anger you have towards the Trump administration, certainly, but definitely heavily featuring the pro-Palestinian movement and messaging, whereas the hands-off rallies, from what I understand, that are happening all around the country right now are hands-off my Medicare, but also hands-off NATO. Apparently.
Hell yeah!
Like libs are
go.
Libs are doing hands-off my NATO.
I love NATO.
Yeah, me too.
I love my NATO.
Common dreams. Why are hands-off rallies defending war-hungry NATO? Many people believe that NATO is a peace-loving defensive alliance, but the opposite is true. Please look at the poster, hands-off NATO. Big protests aren't really my thing anymore, although I think they're good, fine, but it's so funny that today's hands-off NATO, but not hands-off Gaza. What the fuck? Medicaid, Medicare, Social Security, our jobs, our wallets, our bodies, fair elections, personal data. Public lands, veteran services, cancer research, NATO. Hands off NATO. We must stop Trump and Musk's illegal billionaire power grab. We must stop them from undermining and dismantling America's protection racket that ironically, literally, hands off more. You know what's really funny when you say hands off NATO while simultaneously saying hands off for Medicare, Medicaid? It's like, dude, that program in and of itself is a direct lifeline to the military-industrial complex, which is where all of our expenditure goes towards, instead of the other things that you're worried about. Half the reason why they got these fucking programs is because they want to melt the poor so they can become more loyal subjects, more vulnerable servants that will then become property of the state, the Defense Department. But the other thing is they got those programs and then they spend all the money instead on fucking R&D for weapons and like new ways of figuring out baby murder machines. And then we have to send those weapons somewhere. Someone has to purchase those weapons. How do we create that endless appetite for death and destruction? How do we create that endless appetite from all of our valuable allies? Well, we have NATO. That's how it works. And it's so goddamn stupid that these guys don't understand it. It's very, very frustrating. This right here is directly at odds with half of the other things on here. Hands off our libraries.
I think they all are beautiful, and I love all of them. You ever talk about Curtis Yarvin?
Not really. I feel like he's such an ugly little creature that I feel I just every time I see him on screen, I'm like, oh, gross. Like I just click away. I can't deal with it.
Okay.
Why?
No, I was just thinking about him.
You think about him a lot?
I mean, now, like...
Do you find him attractive?
I think he's hot in his own way, but...
Yeah.
But, no, I don't know. Do you think what's happening now with the stock market...
Do you think he wanted it? Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying, do you think that this is, like, all part of kind of the plan in terms of a further consolidation of wealth in a smaller and smaller groups of people's hands? Like, right? Like, you're talking about, like, petty millionaires. Fuck those people. Who cares? Like the super rich, the billionaires and everything. Like
this You're like people with with actual wealth to be able to consolidate more wealth when at a much more reasonable price point is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Like undermining the stock market deliberately so that the super wealthy can go in
simultaneously with tax cuts on rich people, so that they have more money to buy up.
Yeah, I mean I see that as a constant under capitalism. I don't think that it's like I see that as like something that's going to happen regardless.
But
so I don't know if it's a deliberate attempt to do a fire sale on assets for
But I feel like
billionaires.
we're in I think it's something new that's happening right now. Like I think I think this is the new stage, right? Like some people call it like techno-feudalism.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Shouts out to Giannis.
Yes. He is. That's a great book. But it feels like a new stage. I don't know. And I feel like guys like Curtis Yarvin and Peter Thiel and these other guys are kind of a little bit behind the scenes on it. You know, we mostly just see Musk and Trump and all. I don't know. Whatever.
No. I know you're not wrong. Curtis Yarvin has a well-defined worldview and a method in which he wants to bring about this like weird, almost monarchist structure.
Right.
And he is like the billionaires, like the Peter Thiels of the world, are very much on board with this. They think he's brilliant. Mm-hmm. They find his strategy to be brilliant, and they want to do that. And I think that they get to have a piece. They're not a senior partner in the coalition. But they're definitely a junior partner in the coalition in the way that like Bernie was with Biden, right? Where maybe with a lot more influence because their goals align. Mm-hmm. So they're just making the most of the situation. But I don't necessarily think that like Trump is completely in the pocket of these guys to this degree where he's just like, what do you want? He's like getting Curtis Yarvin's guys to go up to him and give him like secret notes. I think it's Project 2025 is what he's following, like almost to a T.
Sure.
Even the tariff stuff. If you look at, we looked at the Project 2025 tariff stuff, and basically everything that they are, all of their resentment, all their gripes that they talk about in Project 2025 is demonstrated by Trump. And the other side of the story is the World Trade Organization, and specifically favored nations benefits that China gets, that lock any kind of tariff strategy against China with every other country that America trades with, or every other country that like Western nations trade with, that limits America's opportunity to decouple from China. And I think that's one thing that they want to undermine. They want to undermine the World Trade Organization and rebuild a new one, because this one, China was able to work with. And that's something that Donald Trump has talked about. That's something that I think the Heritage Foundation definitely wants to restructure. They openly write about it in Project 2025, and I think tariffs play a role in that. It's not necessarily like an asset sale for as cheap.
I feel like possible. It's just like an added. I mean, it's an added.
Yeah, it's added value more so. Yeah, like they're making the most of that situation. But I do think that the reason why he's doing the tariffs is obviously not to beef up American manufacturing. We don't have the fucking infrastructure to even beef up American manufacturing on our own. I think he's doing that to try and desperately restructure global trade and move away from China as a manufacturing hub and the secondary manufacturing hubs that China has created in like Vietnam and whatnot. Over time, to avoid sanctions and to also because they've developed too much. So, yeah, that's what I think. And you want to know something really funny about that? Do you want to know who the first president was? Or not the first president, but you know who Donald Trump actually followed the agenda of so thoroughly when it comes to the World Trade Organization and the tariffs and NATO? Barack Obama. Barack Obama was originally, Barack Obama is like when we start pivoting to the Indo-Pacific and we start pivoting to like more heavily focusing on Chinese development and trying to undermine it to the best of our ability. Barack Obama did the apology tour, if you remember, when he went to like, you know, Japan. Didn't really apologize for anything, but like everyone said he apologized. What the hell are you doing? Like all of that stuff was done with a sinister purpose in mind. The goal was to restructure alliances in that area and basically apply pressure to China that was growing as a manufacturing hub and growing in a lot of its soft power initiatives. Barack Obama also started the undermining of the World Trade Organization, refusing to send judges to the World Trade Organization, and basically removing them of any sort of mediator capabilities that they might have had in global trade. And Donald Trump totally followed through on that, and so did Biden, and so did Donald Trump too in his second term, and Trump too. Yeah, Trump 1 and Trump 2 identical in that process. Same thing with NATO. Obama was the one who originally wanted NATO countries to increase their GDP expenditures on NATO, on their own self-defense, by purchasing American weapons, of course. That was Bardock no bummer that initially started that process. Mm-hmm. So it was really funny when like liberal media would cover that, like, Trump doing that as a totally separate thing, because he kept saying, I'm going to undermine NATO, you need to pay more. Ironically enough, he was doing what Barack Obama wanted to implement initially.
Did you see Obama's thing that he said recently?
Yeah, he was talking about how like I think he wrote a piece as well.
Yeah.
Where he said like, if I were to do this, people would freak out or something. Isn't that what he said?
Yeah.
It's like, why didn't you do it?
Well, I think he's jealous.
He's such a fucking asshole, dude. Obama's such a fucking asshole. Yeah, Obama, especially in 2008, unlike Donald Trump, did have the mandate. He did have the popular mandate, and he had the supermajority as well. And he didn't do what Trump is doing, and he should have done what Trump is doing, especially because the economy was at its lowest point at that in that regard. He had the opportunity to greatly restructure the American economy and do everything he wanted to do, and he did not do it. All right, we should head out. We should head over there now.
You feel rested, Marsh?
I feel so much better.
I feel so bad for Marsh. At least I got like 2 hours of shut eye when I first got it. Is it cold out?
They say the best.
No, it's gonna be warm.
Yeah, it's warm. They say the best naps are only like 20, 30 minutes.
Who says that?
Science. The scientists.
Marsh was also talking a big game about how he's Mr. Raver, so he doesn't even need this stuff. He doesn't need to.
Word that so poorly.
He doesn't need this whole
Mr.
sleeping shit.
Raver.
Okay, let's do this.
All right, we got mics. Oh yeah, you gotta set the shit up still. Here are the mics, and then I will bring this bag as well. I guess we'll put some stuff in it.
Damn, like 2 more minutes.
But yeah, I'm gonna do that. Hold on.
Good job.
The fuck?
What?
Someone just texted me, farting motherfucker.
Nice. They know what you're up to. They know what you've been getting up to over here. Okay. All right. There's also the new video that came out that was like 8 minutes long. Here, we'll watch this while we wait. But this is something I wanted to cover as well. Where remember how the Israeli government, that famously never lies, was like, hey, we didn't kill a bunch of health care workers with the Palestine Red Crescent.
Do they still pretend to do that? I thought they don't even do that anymore.
No, I think they still were like, I don't think they talk about it at all because there wasn't enough like Western media coverage on it. They don't ever say anything unless like there's enough fuss happening in the Western media. And it's crazy because like the New York Times coverage on the matter when the bodies were uncovered 15 healthcare workers, like first responders and healthcare workers, including 8 directly from the Palestine Red Crescent, which is the Red Cross in the MENA region. When they uncovered these buried ambulances and all the people that Israel had killed, the New York Times basically said, we can't confirm or deny if Israel did anything. We just couldn't reach out to either side to figure out who had done this, what had happened. And it's fucking insane. Because, like, obviously you have the number of people that work for the Palestine Red Crescent. Like, you're the New York Times, dude. Yeah. The thing is, this is getting a lot, like, they actually uncovered 8 minutes of footage from one of the healthcare workers. It's a harrowing story. It details exactly what they did. And now I think Israel might get into a little bit of trouble because...
with who?
I mean, not with America, of course. I meant Israel might have to at least go, oopsie, we didn't mean to do this. Okay.
Can you take that one off?
Yeah. I already did. Wait, what the hell? Why is the laptop camera not working?
No.
It is working now. Boom. Okay.
Oh, there's a different one. Oh, it's a laptop.
There's a laptop camera too.
Sick.
That yeah. Why you say boomer? The fuck do you mean? All right, let's keep going.
It is shortly before dawn on the 23rd of March. The first rays of sunlight can be seen as a convoy of Palestinian Red Crescent ambulances are travelling on a road to the north of Rafah, searching for missing colleagues. The Israeli military would later claim that they didn't have their emergency lights on. This video shows very clearly that in fact they did. The convoy spots the missing ambulance on the side of the road, so they pull over. The paramedics wearing their uniforms get out and start to move towards the vehicle. Israeli soldiers then open fire. The video goes black, but the mobile phone keeps recording for another 5 minutes, much of which is almost constant gunfire. One of the paramedics, Rifat Redwan, can be desperately heard reciting the Shahada, the Muslim prayer before death. "Forgive me, Mother," he says. "This is the path I chose to help people." He was later found with a bullet in his head and this mobile phone still on him. It was 5 days before the IDF gave permission to the United Nations to retrieve the 15 bodies. They were found in a mass grave and their vehicles crushed beside them.
Straight up neo-Nazi bullshit. Nazi state doing Nazi shit. Anyone that refuses to recognize that is a Nazi apologist. That's it. That's all this is. There's nothing else. There's literally nothing else to say about it. Oh yeah, you got a
Little magnet.
Cool.
You just take that off. Yeah.
Oh, sick. Oh, shit.
I'll put it on the Kafia for now. Hopefully it'll have good audio, but please tell me you guys brought safety goggles that cover the sides of your eyes just in case it's tear gas. No, and I don't think there will be. I mean, I don't plan on. I don't think that there will be.
Hassan always carries a lot of like a half gallon of breast milk with him, so he can just put the breast milk in his eyes.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do.
The Israeli military has claimed that 8 of the dead were Hamas. They have not yet provided any evidence of that.
They always, I mean, this is what they do. They're just like, oh yeah, babies, Hamas. Healthcare workers that are engaging in deconfliction with Israeli government in an effort to go to places where the Israeli government has bombed entire facilities. And they're there to like save the lives of children that Israel is trying to kill. Everyone's Hamas in the process. That's their number one defense. They don't even need to be good. They don't even need to be good at lying at this point, because you don't need to craft an expert lie if no one is going to hold you to account, and they're just going to avoid it. They're going to avoid talking about it. They're going to avoid punishing you, and that the American government is inevitably going to turn around and say, oh, well, you know, they're working on it. They're just small bean Israel, you know?
The Israeli military has also claimed that the vehicles were travelling without coordination in a combat zone. But a Sky News investigation has revealed that an evacuation order was not issued by the IDF for that area until at least an hour after the incident.
You ready to
The
go?
ambulances were clearly marked and they should have returned to the families.
Oh,
They did not. Even in the most complex conflict zones, there are rules. These rules of international humanitarian law could not be clearer. Civilians must be protected. Humanitarians must be protected. Health services must be protected.
Following the emergence of the video, the IDF has released a new statement saying that all claims, including documentation circulating about the incident, will be thoroughly and deeply examined to understand the sequence of events and the handling of the situation. More than 400 aid workers have been killed during the 18 months war in Gaza, as well as tens of thousands of civilians. Israel's version of events, often claiming that the targets were Hamas, have rarely been proven or disproven because of the lack of public evidence. On this occasion, this video undermines and contradicts the IDF's justification for attacking the Palestinian ambulances, and it will inevitably confirm in some people's minds the accusation that war crimes are being committed in Gaza and covered up. Alistair Bunkle, Sky News, in Jerusalem.
Yeah, the protest. Where should I call?
The news that we've all heard so much about, President Trump's sweeping tariffs taking effect, businesses and consumers bracing for the impact with that massive plunge on Wall Street. ABC's Jay O'Brien leads us off with the very latest from Washington. Good morning, Jay.
Janae, good morning. President Trump doubling down on these tariffs overnight, arguing they will grow U.S. manufacturing and supercharge the economy even as stocks plunge and fears of higher prices set in. Overnight, the start of President Trump's 10% tariffs on most goods entering the U.S., coming after stocks plunging Friday, the S&P 500 losing $5 trillion in just 2 days, the worst on Wall Street since the pandemic. Secretary of State Marco Rubio describing the tanking global markets this way.
I don't think it's fair to say economies are crashing. Markets are crashing because markets are based on the stock value of companies who today are embedded in modes of production that are bad for the United States.
Democrats slamming the president for golfing yesterday as stocks fell. President Trump defiant, posting overnight, big business is not worried about the tariffs because they know they are here to stay, and arguing countries will be forced to strike new trade deals that will supercharge our economy. But many industries say they are worried. Japanese gaming giant Nintendo delaying the pre-orders of its highly anticipated Switch 2 console to assess the potential impact of tariffs and evolving market conditions. And U.S. farmers like Tony Thompson in Iowa concerned their businesses.
You get so much fertilizer from Canada, like the U.S. $3 billion in potash from Canada every year. And so putting tariffs on that, like when margins are already tight, we're increasing the stress on us as growers.
And now days away from the start of steeper individualized tariffs on more than 50 countries from China to Vietnam to the European Union, the opening salvos of a trade war. China hitting back with their own 34% tariffs on all U.S. imports. Most economists warning Americans to brace for higher prices on everything from furniture to cars to alcohol.
It's frightening to consider restaurants don't have big margins of profit. So this is going to be difficult for a lot of us.
Now, a handful of Senate Republicans partnering with Democrats on legislation to rein in Trump's authority to issue tariffs. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer telling me,
to show you how bad Trump's tariffs are, you now have Republicans who have been so loath to break with him, even when they've known he's wrong, are now breaking with him. It's going to hurt the whole economy. It is done
Thanks for
so
nothing,
poorly.
Chuck. Fucking asshole. All right. I'm swapping it right now. All right, we're back. There it is. Okay. March is going to put the camera back on. Oof. God damn, I'm tired. Holy moly. Holy baloney, dude. Oops. Wrong camera. Let's keep that on. That's Noah's hat. But you're the one who's going to give it to him? Bro, I'm feeling it. I'm definitely feeling it. March, you killed it, dude. Lolo, you were there. A presence, you know, a force to be reckoned with. Okay. All righty. How are you in a jacket? Do you know how cold it is in this room? It's amazing. It's actually amazingly cold in this. It's perfect. Lolo, please give me back my Zen. That's crazy that you're just You don't have to steal things from me every time we hang out. You know what I mean? Dude, that's crazy. This is wild. I can't even show it. It's sick. Okay. He didn't steal it. He reappropriated it. Okay, dude. Don't give him the grace. Okay, don't make it seem like he's doing a good thing. All right. Well, times are tough, and that's precisely what we're going to be talking about right now. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. We're getting back to the stock market. All right. Have fun, boys. Oops, but not too much fun. Thank you. You're an addict. I am an addict. It's true. I'm addicted. I'm addicted to the grind. All right. Let's get back to stonks. Some of you have it. Many of you will no longer have it by the end of this next month. Please turn down the exposure a bit. It's not that bad. Like it's I mean, it is a little bit over. What are you doing? Why do I let this man do these things to me? I don't understand. All right, I gotta get back. Is it still overexposed? Or is it good, chat? Is it good? He's your lawyer. You should listen to him. If I listen to him, I get nothing done. All right. But yeah, let's get back to the stonks. Let's get back to the American economy. That was quite the eventful day. I hope you guys appreciated that. I certainly did. Post-protest depression or euphoria? No, I'm just like, I feel great after going to these things. Like it is an amazing way. Oh wow, this is from the Fox 5 camera. It is an amazing way to feel like you're not alone. You know, it's the quickest way to realize that there are a lot of people who see the world in the exact same way that you do. Check out this crowd in Boston. Unreal amount of Palestine solidarity here.
It's now as we check back in on one of our top stories, anti-Trump protests taking place across the country today.
I wish these numbers would mobilize for Gaza too. Like I wish that, to be fair, then this is not copium. There are a lot of people at these rallies as well that are also pro-Palestine. And, it is one of the, I would say it's one of the many different issues, you know?
After a tumultuous week, to say the least, on Wall Street and the economy, we want to point out just a few minutes ago, we did show you a protest. We said it was Boston. It was not Boston. It was an unrelated protest. But what you are looking at right now is Boston, and I'm from there. I can recognize this. This is the plaza right outside of City Hall in downtown. Here's a live look at Boston, Massachusetts now as we check back in on one of our top stories.
Meanwhile, it's fucking golfing. I know, he's golfing through it all. My unbothered queen.
That's going to be a hard one to follow. Wow. Love you too. That's why I'm here today, to speak about love in some ways. I feel so emboldened and so galvanized seeing so many people out here demonstrating for a free Palestine. Something that I never thought I would be able to see so many people out in the streets. And even more at home, who recognize the cruelty and the inhumanity of the Zionist regime and the American government's unconditional support for Israel's genocide of the Palestinian population. Now, I've spoken on this matter every single day, as have you, so we've said everything that must be said a million.
Why does he sound like Trump in some of his cadence? Maybe because I listened to him too hard. I don't know. Kind of had a Trump cadence for a second. This is a better POV.
We must put
well, the thing is a little bit like
our voice, even if
the problem with this one is like it's like patchy. I don't know why.
Time's over. I'm gonna keep it short and.
My Shayla. All right, I'm gonna order some room service right now before I die. So I'll let her ride. And then,
Sweet. Also because I
dude,
didn't
Chatter, who's like, you always talk about glories of public transit, but never want to experience the DC Metro. Are you fucking insane, dude? What do you want me to do? I'm streaming. What do you want me to do? Shut it off? You want me to shut off the stream and go fucking ride on the subway? What's wrong with you, Chatter? Goddamn, I'm angry. I'm hangry right now.
Prepare for a speech. I'm sorry. What I want to say is this. Right now, this Trump administration has severely escalated the erosion of civil liberties for all Americans, every single one of us. You have people getting black-bagged in the street disappeared for the crime of speaking the truth. And that is precisely the reason why you demonstrating here matters. We must never allow these fascists to take away our voice, even if people don't recognize, even if people don't understand that one day they might be the ones who get black-bagged and sent to a slave labor colony in El Salvador without due process. We will fight for them too, because every single person here understands the fundamental truth. None of us are free until all of us are free. I want to end with that and say, free Mahmoud, free Humaira, free all of the political prisoners. From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. Your voices will not be silenced.
Thank you, Hassan. How are folks feeling? Are we ready to march on ice? All right, we got 2 more speakers, so I want y'all to hold tight. But before I introduce our next speaker, I want to let you all know that we've just received an appeal from the Palestinian General Federation of Trade Unions in Gaza, who have just shared on the eve of International Workers' Day to join and expand the campaign targeting Israeli companies and their support.
This angle makes it feel like only 100 people showed up. It was thousands. I mean, we can look through my stream. You could see. I think you could see from my stream. It was crazy. Yell chat, yell OMG for Gaza. What? I don't know if this shows the crowds at all, but yeah. Hit cheese pizza from Comet Ping Pong. Okay, calm down. Oh yeah, here. This is. Oh, I mean, look at this.
That's why I'm here today, to speak about love in some ways. I feel so emboldened and so galvanized seeing so many people out here demonstrating free Palestine. Something that I never thought I would be able to see so many people out in the streets, and even more at home, who recognize the cruelty.
This is like, you can't even tell here, but it goes all the way back and all the way on the sides too. It's pretty crazy. It was wild. You have to do more of these. You're honestly better than this than burning your AFC. No, I'm not. I don't have a lot of experience with this stuff, and I should have at least 10K for my estimation for being there. It was about a quarter mile down the street. At least 10,000. Looking at it, bro. Yeah, I wung it. I winged it. Is this your biggest in-person crowd? I don't know. Probably. All right, let's get to the tariffs.
On that list of countries and territories whose tariffs from President Trump start today are the...
Oh, my interview with BTS Newsroom as well.
We're here all the way in D.C. at the Free Palestine rally. Hassan, what brings you here?
I'm about to speak at the march right now. I did not really prepare any words for it, but I feel like all the words that could have been said about the ongoing genocide have already been said 1,000,000 times over. So I'm just here to show solidarity and hopefully bring some people here as well, so that we can demonstrate with large numbers and become undeniable.
Hassan, you have a huge base of people that watch you, that listen to what you say. People are feeling really scared right now. They're feeling tired right now. What's your response to that attitude?
It's something that I think about quite a bit. Honestly, the reason why they're really clamping down on any sort of speech that says the truth about what Israel is doing, that speaks to the atrocities, the inhumanity, the cruel treatment, the genocide of Palestinians in Gaza. The real reasons as to why they're becoming more aggressive in their policing of speech and undermining constitutional protections is because they're scared, is because a lot of people recognize that there is a real fissure between what the public's demands are, what they see, what they recognize, and what the politicians and the lobbyists here in D.C. are advocating for on the issue of Israel. And that's precisely the reason why they want to clamp down as hard as they can. But I think instead of feeling insecure in this moment, we should feel emboldened. And those of us who have the privilege of having an American citizenship, those of us who are Jewish, especially, should be going out and basically putting their bodies in front of this movement to make sure that no matter what happens, we will not be silenced.
And one last thing. You know, these guys like Trump and Musk and this sort of like MAGA attitude of like...
Chad, it sounds way less high-pitched in person, trust me. Different mics. Different mics make it... different mics hit different body. Different mics make it seem like different voices.
Superiority and strength. They're actually quite insecure small people. I feel like you're a good counter to that. What do you have to say to the people who think that like this is the strong alpha cool way to go, is like the Trumps and the Musks of the world?
I think a strong man protects those who can't protect themselves. It's a weak man that seeks out more vulnerable people to harm them, to elevate their status. And I think it's very scary. It's very disturbing that there is momentum amongst the youth here in the United States of America, especially, where they feel like it's a beacon of masculinity to attack those who can't defend themselves. I think that's what a weak man does. We gotta bring strong men back.
You look so white there, ha ha ha. Good. I'll avoid arrest. How'd you like DC? How was the rally? I wish I could have been there. The rally was amazing. The crowd was amazing. Quickest way to recognize that your work is impactful and that your voice is being heard. That's why I always tell you guys, go out to the protests. Always show up. Always directly show solidarity, because every single time you do that, you will feel more emboldened than you did prior, because, you know, it just, did you see Noah Samson? No. I mean, you would have seen him if I saw him, because he would have shown up. He would have come up to me. You're not the Joe Rogan of the left, but I realized you filled the Joe Rogan hole I had when I stopped watching in 2016.
Heard in McDonald Islands.
Okay.
The Wall Street sell-off triggered.
Let's get back to the fucking tariffs, baby. It's tariff time.
By the tariffs and trade policies announced by President Trump this week. Friday.
I wasn't here the entire time, dude. Had shit to do. I wasn't being contentious. I'm just saying you would have seen it if he was there.
Losses intensified after China matched the president's tariffs. The Dow, S&P 500, and NASDAQ all fell more than 5.5%. That added to Thursday's losses, making this the worst two-day streak for the market since the early days of the COVID pandemic. The president is spending the weekend at his Florida resort. CBS News senior White House correspondent Weijia Zhang is traveling with the president and joins us now. Weijia, good morning.
Good morning to you, Dana, and good morning to everybody. You know, last night, President Trump attended a lavish fundraising dinner that cost $1 million a person after spending much of the day at his golf club. He says he is not worried about those nosediving markets and that big business is not worried about the tariffs because, quote, they are
sick. He's not worried about it. Great. Well, if he's not worried about it, then it's fine, I guess. Dude. Again and again and again, I repeat myself on this, but it is crazy how much leeway Republicans get in general, but especially Donald Trump gets when being an out-of-touch, monstrous asshole. It will never not be wild to me. He gets to do whatever he wants, dude. It is crazy. He's just like... He's sitting there. He's like, yeah. Oh, the markets are suffering. Well, I'll make them suffer even more. Who cares? Believe it. It doesn't matter to me. And it should not matter to you. I'm golfing. I'm too busy. And it's just like his fans will just be like, yes, Mr. President, I love you. You're so great. Thank you for disappearing my 401k. It's awesome.
To stay. But we spoke with one small business owner who says she is already feeling financial pain. At the Lotus Food Market in Lake Worth, Florida, owner Marwa Ahmed brews Italian espresso beans, sells lamb from New Zealand, sweets from Turkey, and roasted sesame oil from Japan. How much of the stuff on your shelves is imported?
Yeah, bro, look at this. 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 The White House provides this update on President Trump's weekend. The president won his second-round matchup in the Senior Club Championship today in Jupiter, Florida, and advances the championship round tomorrow. Maggie Haberman says Trump skipped fallen soldier ceremony for golf because he stopped caring about optics. This would also explain the White House celebrating Trump's golf score today. Like, he is straight up taking a what are you going to do about it attitude. And it's kind of interesting because I wonder what this does to his base. Like, will they still rally around him unconditionally? All signs point to yes, but I will say it won't go on like this. I don't foresee this. I don't foresee his careless nature. I don't see his careless nature being seen as a positive for as long as he thinks he can get away with it. I think there is going to come there's gonna be a moment where he realizes like his fans are also fucking mad. There will always be a number of people at this stage that will glaze Donald Trump no matter what he does. Okay, no matter what he does. He fancies himself to be the king, and there are people that will unconditionally defend his decisions no matter what. But that number is not gonna stay at like 40%, and it's not gonna stay at even 30%. And once it reaches a certain pivotal point, especially if he keeps crashing the economy, if he keeps crashing the economy like a total dipshit, I think he might actually get removed from office. Lamar, this is my wild take. Watching CNBC yesterday convinced me the Capitals were dooming. Yeah, because the one thing you can't do is fuck up the bag. As long as you don't fuck up the bag, you're golden, right? He's fucking up the bag. And not only is he fucking up the bag, but he's fucking up the bag in a very spectacular fashion with not even any sort of care or consideration. Like, it's Chapo Boys vindicated, Officer Revolt. Yeah, I still have some friends and family who still support him. Yes, but what did they say? A lot of you have relatives that are Trump supporters. Ask them, and I believe what they will say right now is, oh, there's a plan here. Oh, like, I get that there's going to be a period of struggle, but I think it's for a good thing overall. That is different from what they thought yesterday. Because what they thought yesterday was, oh, he's glorious. There's nothing wrong. Shut up, libtard. This is what I voted for. Right? That, over the course of 2 days, has turned into, yeah, this will work out in the long run. I believe it. Trust the process. Which is one step removed. I mean, it's certainly not the same as it was 2 days ago, 3 days ago, where it was like, yeah, we're winning so much. I love winning. To it's trust the process. It's going to work. And it will eventually turn into, if this works out, it's going to be great. And everyone's going to know it's great. And you will all be wrong. And eventually it will turn into, okay, this is not great at all. What is he doing? To, you know, a bunch of former Trump supporters turning into the Butler, Pennsylvania guy. And those are the guys with the guns. And those are the guys who are angry and get very angry and have a proclivity towards violent demonstration. So just saying, it can't go on like this for too long. There is going to be, because I'm noticing that even the Trump supporters are basically saying like, I don't know, I'm sure this will work out in the long run. Right? That's different than what they were saying 2 days ago before he plummeted the stock market. Feel me? A quick thread of charts showing how Trump's economic agenda is going so far. Trump has had the same impact on economic uncertainty as a global pandemic. That's amazing. That is amazing. That's incredible. Like, global pandemic killing millions has the same impact. Businesses shutting down globally, supply chains completely crippled. Has the same impact as Donald Trump haphazardly putting together a fucking chat GPT economic policy. Picked up right where he left off, Lamont. Yeah. That was just the US version. What is particularly impressive that he's managed this on a global scale. Starting to get the feeling that Trump annotation is going to be the chart equivalent of a layer of volcanic ash in a fossil record. US consumers are reacting very, very negatively. These are the worst ratings for any U.S. government economic policy since records began. Well over half of Americans expect the economy to deteriorate over the next year. Again, the highest figure ever recorded. People are also very, very worried about job losses. Just 25% of adults say they expect their finances to look better in 5 years than today. Just 25%. Those are the fucking loyalists. That's lower even than at the nadir of the Great Recession. This one is fun. Remember when Trump won the inflation election as voters united behind him because they were pissed off at rising prices? Fast forward a few months and Americans' inflation expectations are now as high as they were at the peak of the Biden era price rises. Dude, JP Morgan is saying that Americans are going to experience negative real wage growth again by Q3 of this year, Q2 and Q3 of this year is when Americans are going to feel the impact. That is record breaking. That is also incredibly unsustainable. The fact that they already experienced negative real wage growth under the Biden administration caused a complete collapse of the Biden favorabilities. It destroyed Biden's legacy, paired up with obviously the genocide that Biden was participating in. But like that was a major factor. Negative real wage growth is like twice. Negative real wage growth in 2 different terms back to back is psychotic, dude. This is the wealthiest country on the planet. Hotel Wi-Fi moment? What do you mean? What happened? It's especially sad for people that are my age, right? You go to college, horrible job market. Like, think about it. I went to college in 2009. It was over at that point. You know what I mean? I went to college in 2009, got out by 2013. It's fucking over at that point. What are you supposed to look forward to? You know, there's a period of stability, and then, you know, and then there's COVID, and then now Trump comes in again. There's hyperinflation under, not hyperinflation, but like massive inflation under Brandon. Possible hyperinflation under Trump. If you are a millennial onward, your life has just been dog shit. There's never been a moment for hope. Not even like the brief super growth period in the 90s. You know what I mean? There's just never been, you have never experienced like the glory of the 90s or anything like that. It's just always bad. That is not sustainable. For all the talk about powerful pro-Trump media ecosystem, the share of Americans who have heard negative business news coverage of the government has exploded. Even the podcast bros can't distract Americans from the realities of the stock market. Yeah, you can keep tapping the vein of trans people, of woke, DEI all day, every day. But when your pocketbook gets hit, you don't give a fuck about trans people, dog. All of a sudden, it becomes a very real situation for you where you're like, well, Trump is not trans, and he's the one who fucked me. Go ahead. Talk about how trans people did this over and over again. See what I'm saying? It's the one thing. I mean, it was the irony here is that this was the reason why, like the most significant reason why Brandon lost. The most significant reason why Biden lost was the economy, was the fact that the recovery came too late. The fact that, I mean, there wasn't really a recovery, but a rebound came too late. And also in the process, like Americans did not forget experiencing negative real wage growth for a year and a half under the Brandon administration. That's something you don't forget. Your salary goes up marginally, but the cost of living explodes. All of a sudden, your dollar doesn't go the same distance that it once did. You are making less money while doing the same job. And the expectation in a healthy society is that the older you get, the more you work, the more money that you're supposed to make, the more purchasing power you're supposed to have, because how much money you make at the end of the day is entirely related to your purchasing power. Pair that up with the already existing unaddressed underemployment crisis in this country, where people are just working gig economy jobs to make a living, to make ends meet, and you have a real volatile situation in your hands. Donald Trump threw a Molotov cocktail on that for no reason. It is crazy. Trump's approval is holding up well with MAGA, but he's rapidly losing support among the rest of the coalition who voted for him in November. Or to put it another way, the view from inside the MAGA echo chamber remains rosy, outside not so much. And he will ply away day by day, even the MAGA people, when it gets to losing 30% of their nest egg, when it gets to losing 40% of their nest egg, when it gets to losing 50% of their nest egg. There's only so much economic pain and economic uncertainty that even the biggest diehard MAGA loyalists can take. I'm not saying there won't be people who will defend it unconditionally and vociferously. There will be, okay? These guys are very dumb. They're not particularly intelligent people. They just want to close their eyes and think about a powerful, strong man who sometimes does things that are unpredictable, but he's doing it. He's setting events in motion that are directionally the right things to do. He's got our best interests in mind, right? What did this guy say? Weren't you one of the people who said it didn't matter whether you vote for Kamala or Trump due to the Palestine issue? Aren't you directly contributing yourself to this issue by dividing the left? Wait, what? This guy's still... Bro, this guy is still holding on to this idea that I'm responsible for fucking Kamala Harris's dog shit campaign. Kamala Harris lost because she didn't listen to voices that I was representing. I was right. You should go take it up with her. Okay? Kamala lost to this. It is so wild. It is so wild to me that you still have the audacity to refuse to listen when your grandparents recognize that reality now. That's the funniest part about this is like, we were out in the streets earlier today. You think those fucking old people are as libbed up as this one random dumbass who still, for free, defends the DNC's horrible decisions? How crazy is that? Isn't that wild? Isn't that wild that, like, there are still neoliberals that just only care about this back and forth and, like, defending the DNC, I guess, no matter how bad they get? When you got grandmas and grandpas putting on fucking t-shirts, going out, taking it to the streets and protesting, demanding that the Democrats do something, demanding that the Democrats do anything. You can't be getting outflanked by your grandparents, chatter. Fix your fucking brain. You don't even have decades of propaganda that have socially conditioned you into being a loyal servant of the DNC. The DNC or the Democratic Party hasn't even given you enough amenities for you to do this. There are servants. They serve us. We don't serve them. You can't come in here and be like, the Democratic Party cannot fail. The Democratic Party can only be made to fail. We failed the Democrats. Idiot. You know? It's crazy. When you're getting outflanked by your parents, you got to really reconsider. Trump is obsessed with Xi. I mean, we knew that already. The AP is reporting for Jupiter, Florida, where president is spending the second day golfing. Captures Trump morning newspaper. Trump goes all in, bet with a heavy price of tariffs will pay off for Americans. China, yeah, try. Beijing retaliates with 34% duties as stocks crash. I'm not gonna lie, I'm obsessed with him too. Like, he's hot. He's got aura. That photo, the two photos that live in my mind is him pressing that button, and then the other one where he's in the room posted up with the party. Like, I love that photo. He just looks, I mean, this is a 72-year-old man, okay? He's a 72-year-old man, and the aura that he has in that fucking photo, it just lives in my mind. It has a permanent space. I wish Xi was my stepdad. Yeah, he's the dad that stepped up. Trump thinks Xi will call to beg for forgiveness. I think he's insane. Like, I think he misunderstood the glad handling and the praise that a lot of people gave him to manipulate him in the first term and maybe even in the second, with like a genuine fear that these people have over him. And it's kind of funny. Oh, don't say that. They will know you are a Chinese spy. Yeah, I am. I'm a spy for China. Like, that's the reason why Shinzo Abe, he loves Shinzo. He loves Shinzo Abe. Why? Because Shinzo Abe was one of the only Western aligned leaders that actually glazed them early on, because he recognized, like, oh, if I give this guy praise and I respect him, he will give me good deals. He is he's a unstable madman, but he is so narcissistic that he loves when someone is like saying, yes, Mr. President, you're the best. And I think he heard that so much, because I think Putin does that too. Like, he likes authoritarian strongmen who are firm, but also are nice to him. And Xi definitely did that. So on the one hand, he respects the amount of power that they have, the command that they have over their people. He doesn't realize where that comes from, I think, especially with Xi. Like, that command doesn't exclusively come from a repressive state apparatus that's constantly telling people, like, you can't criticize the dear leader. That's, in his mind, he probably thinks that. But that command literally does not exclusively stem from social repression. It comes from good policies that people can see. If in your lifetime you have watched your country develop at a rapid clip, like, you're gonna like the government. And this is demonstrated in all of the Western polls that are conducted in China about approval ratings. You would also know this if you talk to any Chinese person as well, where the attitude that I hear all the time from Chinese people is they know there are certain things you can't say. They know that there are certain conversations that you can't have. And for an American, they're like, that's unimaginable, you know? They're like, what the fuck? That's crazy. And I agree. I don't disagree with you on that. But as long as you keep your head down in your work, you know that the government's got your back. That is what the attitude is overall. They live in ain't good, no wars, ain't shit to complain about. They live in good, ain't doing no wars, ain't shit to complain about. Yeah, and development. I don't think a lot of Chinese minorities would agree with you there. Please stop, brother, please. Has the CCP invited you to a talk or outreach? Is what happens in North Korea is so close, lol, in Russia. I think we delude ourselves into thinking that it's all fucking, all stick, no carrot in these places. I would go so far as to say that there's probably a contingency of fans amongst Vladimir Putin for bad reasons and for the reasons that I demonstrated as well. Like in terms of managing the decline in the post-USSR world and like rebuilding Russia, ruling with an iron fist, certainly, but there is like, or even the negative reasons, like rebuilding the Russian Empire, like that mentality, I think, for a lot of boomers especially is solid. They're like, oh yeah, we're restoring the glory of Russia, right? Like that is probably another reason why people like Putin. But of course, his approval ratings are different than Xi Jinping, I think. There's definitely, it's like Erdogan. Putin and Erdogan are a little bit closer to one another. But ultimately, the reason why I was talking about this is because like Donald Trump doesn't understand that. I think a lot of Westerners don't understand that as well. They kind of cycle the same propaganda and believe it, but they believe the propaganda themselves. Like they think like, oh no, it's just because of the social repression that people are too scared to say they don't like Xi Jinping. And it's not the carrot and the stick working side by side, because social repression certainly exists in China. But there's also a lot of development. There's also a lot of development that makes people think, well, you know, there's certain things that you can't say, but look at Chinese prosperity. It's fucking fantastic. Now that's changing for the youth in China, from what I understand, because they're also losing hope a little bit for their futures. That is definitely the overall vibes that I have at least seen. But the reality of the matter is, the carrot goes a long fucking way. The carrot makes the stick invisible. Okay? Trump is just going all stick, no carrot, especially in a country like America where treats are supreme and Americans have less of an appetite for social repression than the average Chinese person, in my opinion. They have no appetite for that shit. That's why I always stress the importance of talking about the issue of Palestine, even from a First Amendment violation standpoint, because maybe I'm too hopeful about my fellow Americans, but they don't really like that shit. I think China may be similar to the U.S. during the periods of upward mobility in the U.S. from the 40s and 60s. People trusted the government and felt things were getting better. As things stagnated in the 70s, people lost trust. We're starting to see the same in China as the decades of upward mobility have slowed. Yes. No, that is precisely what it is. Yes, upwards mobility gives people a semblance of hope. That's it. It's that simple. When people think, oh, well, my needs are met, they're happy. It's not that complicated of a conversation to have. If you have something to look forward to, that's it. You're like, okay, well, you know, there's some downsides for sure. No country's perfect. It also creates a sense of pride in your nation, a sense of pride in like what it has accomplished on the global stage even. So it's hard to even broach the subject with Americans. Like, I've not been proud of this country. I can't recall a time when I did. From the outside looking in, I was like, man, America seems awesome. I want to go there so bad, but like my expectations were not met. I was overcome with the true nature of American reality. It just, the idea that Trump thinks that Xi Jinping will come and grovel directly stems from the niceties that he's experienced from Xi that he mistakes as like fealty. It's stupid. I think he's narcissistic and stupid. He's good at reading the room, but I think this is a major weakness for him. The major weakness is when someone is nice to him, he literally takes it at face value.
99%.
99%.
Yep.
So 99% of your goods, the price is going to go up.
Yes, at least 10%.
At midnight, a 10% universal tariff went into effect. And next week, the U.S. will impose reciprocal tariffs on many of its biggest trading partners. Ahmed said she's already feeling the impact, with wholesalers charging her more for goods as they brace for the tariffs. When tariffs kick in, who ends up paying for it?
Unfortunately, that is the sad reality, is that we do have to impose this on the customers. I have to make money in order to pay my rent and pay my employees, pay my bills, to keep the store open and to keep being in business.
Trump argues his policies will help businesses, big and small. But J.P. Morgan's economic team released a new prediction, putting the chances of a near-term recession at 60%. It said Trump's tariffs amount to the largest tax hike in almost 60 years, since 1968. Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell.
It is now becoming clear that tariff increases will be significantly larger than expected. And the same is likely to be true of the economic effects, which will include higher inflation and slower growth.
From his golf club in West Palm Beach, the president posted on social media urging Powell to cut interest rates, even though the Fed is independent of the White House. And Trump declared only the weak will fail. Ahmed had hoped to expand her business, but now she's focused on staying afloat.
It is very concerning. But, you know, what am I going to do? I just kind of have to take it step by step, day by day.
Ahmed said she is also worried that a weak job market will impact consumer spending, but there is some good news on that front. So even though the unemployment rate ticked slightly up for the month of March, the number of jobs were far better than expected. In response to that, President Trump said it's already working and told Americans to hang tough. Dana.
That message within one day at a time resonating with so many. Weija, thank you very much.
I hope that I hope that the United States and Europe can establish a very close partnership. We obviously are, there's an alliance already, but I'm hopeful that there can be a very close relationship with America and Europe. And I'm hopeful, for example, with the tariffs, that at the end of the day, I hope it is agreed that both Europe and the United States should move, ideally, in my view, to a zero tariff situation, effectively creating a free trade zone between Europe and North America. That would be that's what I hope occurs. And also more freedom of people to move between Europe and North America, if they wish. If they wish to work in Europe or wish to work in America, they should be allowed to do so, in my view. So that has certainly been my advice to the president.
All right, Fox News alert here. As the selling does seem to continue in the American stock market, you've got the Dow sinking to the lows of the session as we speak right now.
The girls are fighting. He doesn't like it. Oh, no. Oh, no.
Down 2,100 points at 38,418. Okay, so let's bring in Stephen Miller. He's at the White House. He's the White House Deputy Chief of Staff. Your timing is perfect because I'm sure there are a lot of folks out there who would like to know the White House thinking here. Stephen, please do share with us your thoughts in this moment, and especially after China announced these retaliatory tariffs. It seems like that's when the markets took another leg down here. Where is all of this going next?
Well, let's first establish an important foundation. The United States is 36% of global consumption, and we're more than 25% of the world's economy. Just the United States alone. That means we get to set the rules and terms for international trade. But we've done the opposite as a country for decades now. When we hear the term globalization, what does that really mean? It means taking America's wealth and shipping it to foreign countries. So all the factories that used to be in America are now in China, Cambodia, Thailand, Vietnam, Canada, Mexico, parts of Africa, India, Europe, Japan, Korea. You know where they're not? The United States of America. Because our leaders allowed foreign countries to rig the rules of the game, to cheat, to steal, to rob, to plunder. That has cost America trillions of dollars in wealth. These countries cannot win a trade fight with us because they're already the ones who have cheated. So in other words, they've stolen our industries. We have all the upside here in this fight because we can now make these industries come back because we have the market. We have the consumers they need. Japan cannot replace the American automobile market. Europe can't replace the American automobile market. They need us. And this is a fundamental issue of fairness and national security. Tell me, why is it that if you go to Tokyo, there's no American cars? If you go to Berlin, there's no American cars. But on our streets, we have every foreign car there is in the world.
I can tell you, it's because we don't make cars for that market. We can, and we sometimes do. There are versions of like Ford vehicles that we make that those markets can use and drive. What are they supposed to do? What's the goal here? We just like force them to drive F-150 pickup trucks on their roads? It won't fit. What are we supposed to do? Just force them? We did. We literally forced Japan to buy our trucks and they couldn't even sell them. Sorry. You have to literally rebuild your infrastructure so that it can allow our fucking cars to drive on your roads. Like, you have to change the streets. That is psychotic. You have to change your domestic policies for food. You have to change your food, health, and safety regulations so that you can purchase our beef. That is insane. At no step, at no point in this process do we turn around and go, maybe we should make stuff that they would like or that they could use. Nope, not at all. It's fucking insane, dude.
Locked their markets to our cars. They have stolen from our workers and our people. And President Trump is saying that has to end. We need our wealth back and our jobs back. And the quality of America, the American quality of life will rise exponentially as these policies kick in and as the great onshoring and return of American wealth occurs.
Are you confident we can replace that production and we can do so in a way that Americans can actually afford and like those cars?
Without question. In fact, the changes in advanced manufacturing technology, 3D printing, robotics, artificial intelligence, this makes it more and more affordable to manufacture, produce, and build at scale in the United States. American workers...
Dude, that's also crazy because this is directly him recognizing that it's not even going to be made with American workers. It's going to be made cheap because we're going to use robots. I got this goat cheese tart too, and it is bomb. Okay, DC, I didn't recognize you got game like this. It's good as fuck.
Should not have to compete with child slave wages in Vietnam. They should not have to. That is wrong. We do not need a global race to the bottom that says that American workers have to earn the same wages and work in the same conditions as the poorest workers in the third world. That's the system that we've had. With the right tax policy, the right regulation policy, the right trade policy, and investing in advanced manufacturing, all of these industries and supply chains can come back home. But here's the thing. It's not a choice. It's a national security imperative. Well, what would happen if there were...
You know what's funny about this? I wonder if people will recognize this. His advocacy right here is quite literally the abundance agenda. Okay? It is just as pie in the sky and ridiculous as being like, well, scientific innovation will solve for this. Just simply saying that and moving on. Things take time, you dumb fuck. What do you mean? Oh, with automation, we'll fix it. So funny because like he's making it seem as though the only hurdle was that here was the fact that we just simply didn't have the automation here. Like we didn't, like the factories are empty. There are no more factories. You can't build the factory, let alone figure out the technology where you can still continue to displace the pre-existing labor force to make the manufacturing be competitive with, in his words, child labor wages in Vietnam, which is crazy. That's not what's going on anyway.
There was a war and we didn't have the ability to manufacture our own steel, our own aluminum, our own medicine, our own automobiles, our own aircraft, what would happen to the United States of America? It is a fundamental matter of national survival.
Yeah, well, we got a glimpse of that during COVID, right? When people couldn't get what they needed, we learned so much of it was being made outside of the United States. And how about the food industry? This was really interesting perspective right here on America Reports last hour from a shrimper. Listen.
We've been getting killed by imports for not just years, but literally decades. So we've been suffering for a long, long time. And these tariffs, we believe, are going to give us some immediate.
This is so funny. There are a handful of sectors that will benefit in the short term from this, even though the overall impact on the economy for the tariffs are going to be disastrous for them too. And it's like meat facilities, right? Obviously, the counter tariffs will hit them hard regardless, but it's just like meat production or fishermen. You know what I mean? It's like, we got shrimp out here too. Why the fuck are we getting it from Ecuador, right? Like that's the one guy that stands to gain from this. But the reality is, because the tariffs are so broad and they're not specific to shrimp, that his dumbass doesn't understand. You still need like parts for your boat, and now that's 50% higher. How are you going to maintain your business, dumbass? There's not a single person that stands to benefit from this in the short term or the long term without any financial penalties. So they can find the dumbest boaters for Trump guy, talk about how, well, we're no longer buying from Ecuador, we're buying shrimp right from me. Sure. Good luck with your equipment costs as you scale up your shrimp production, dumbass.
Relief. We've outsourced our whole industry. 94% of the shrimp consumed in the United States is imported.
Okay, so he shared with us he's optimistic that this could help his industry survive. And they've seen a decline for decades now because all of these, all the shrimp's been coming in from all these other countries into the United States. Low quality shrimp, he pointed out. But there's fears.
By the way, a lot of the seafood that we're importing has formaldehyde in it, is not safe for consumption. And this whole situation, people have to understand just how badly we've been ripped off as a country. You heard that, gentleman. 94% of shrimp is imported to the United States, and we have the Gulf of America. The U.S. agriculture.
Notice how they only talk about the two sectors that think they will benefit because of their nearsighted thinking here are shrimp and fucking meat. Okay, except for shrimp, you see a tangible benefit because it's mostly being imported. There won't be any fucking exports, but at least you can make up for market demand somehow. So if the cost increasing didn't cook your overhead and make your business unsustainable, which it will, I understand that argument. Now, the demand for shrimp stays the same, but the supply has diminished by 94%. This is a great opportunity for you to make a fuck ton of money. The problem is, this is not a tariff on shrimp. This is a tariff on everything, you fucking idiot. That's why I also even have smoke for like the UAW a little bit, because it's short-sighted. The UAW is excited at the prospect of American manufacturing being a low-cost alternative because they're increasing the prices of all exports. Fine. Or I mean, all imports. Fine. But the issue is all of the parts that you're producing are now more expensive, which will then make the domestic manufactured car prices even higher as well, which will then decrease demand. And I think it will lead to layoffs in the long term.
Culture and seafood industry has been decimated because we allow for subpar cheap foreign imports without limit that are subsidized by foreign countries to put our farmers and our shrimpers out of business while their markets are close to ours. Can someone explain to me?
Okay, dude, American farmers, really? Trump is doing a Pol Pot style genocide on the American farmland. And you're over here talking about how, we're going to help our farmers. Dude, one, you cooked USAID, which directly fucked the farmers. Then Then you do this trade thing and you double fuck the farmers because now you can't even you can't even send soybeans to fucking China. Farmers are cooked. Yeah. He wants to cut food stamps again. It's like that's going to lower demand to a degree where like subsidies will not even help. How did USAID help farmers? USAID buys a bunch of agricultural output, send overseas, which ironically enough actually has a uniquely destabilizing impact on the domestic economies of countries like Somalia because it makes it impossible for them to develop their own domestic agricultural output.
Protect and defend South Korea. And in exchange, they steal our automobile industry, they steal our electronics industry. We protect and defend Japan, and in exchange, they close their market to our cars. We protect and defend Canada, and they run up a massive trade deficit with us. We protect and defend all of Europe at a cost of trillions of dollars over time, and what do? They run an over $300 billion trade deficit with the United States. Why should America protect the world, send foreign aid to the world, defend the world, provide for the world, and in exchange, get ripped off by every other country in the world? And what do we have to show for it? The deindustrialization of the heartland, the destruction of the American dream, the eradication of our industrial and manufacturing base that we need for our national security, and the crushing of the American dream. It has to stop, not to mention $36 trillion in debt.
I've only got a few seconds left, but people are throwing around the R word, and they see the Dow down 2,100 points, and people are worried about a recession. They're worried that we can't do this without sending this economy into such a deep dive that we can't come back from it. And I know you guys are all about growth. I know you're about lowering taxes, rolling back regulations, and seeing that growth. Are you concerned that this
responsible for the single-handedly responsible for the greatest tax increase, and it's not even a progressive tax but a regressive one for seemingly no reason, and then they're like, well, you know, you're all about lowering taxes. Why the fuck are you doing a mass sales tax then that nobody asked for? That's what this is. It is also a regressive tax which will harm the working poor way more. No, the funniest thing is, no, this is not a wealth tax. What they've done is just shred fake numbers on a board. They shred wealth in the market because of speculation. They didn't make that money back. I wish it was a fucking wealth tax.
This is going to put us into a recession.
The exact opposite. We inherited from Joe Biden an economy in total free fall. There has been zero jobs growth for American workers in 4 years. In other words, all jobs growth had gone to foreign workers. That is a depression, not a recession. That is a depression for the American worker. We had debt and deficits that were rising unsustainably that would lead us into a certain debt and deficit crisis. We had inflation that was in high double digits, crushing the American family, making it impossible to afford the essentials of life. We had an economy that was in a state of calamity and catastrophe. President Trump's policy of reshoring our supply chains, pushing for total expensing of capital gains, eliminating regulation, eliminating intrusive Green New Scam environmental rules, pushing for the biggest, broadest...
Bro, I never thought I would ever see the world where I would be like, as someone who does not mind trade protectionism, I can't believe I'm listening to a guy who's describing, with the correct words, mind you, what the goals are supposed to be. And I just know he's lying, so I can't even fucking... Like, I know he's lying, and I know it's impossible because you didn't do the things that you were supposed to do before you even got to the tariffs, and you should have never done universal tariffs anyway. That, like, we have a historic destabilization that's taking place, and it's only happening in the wrong direction. I cannot believe it. It almost feels like they're doing this to be like, listen, this is why trade protectionism is bad. We just wanted to do this as a period just to prove to you how bad trade protectionism is. We are doing free trade permanently. Like, it almost feels like a fucking psyop the way that they're doing this. Where's the biggest cope?
Tax cut in American history and reducing taxes on American workers, including ending taxes on tips, ending taxes on overtime, ending taxes on Social Security.
I liked this a few hours ago because I thought it was a joke. No matter how bad my 401k looks, tomorrow I still got this. Yeah, bro, you gonna eat the Gulf of America? Are you going to print it out on a piece of paper and eat the paper? What are you going to do with that? Man, these people are fucking, bro, they are so dumb, dude. It is crazy how dumb the average American is. Oh my God. The average American Republican is living on a different planet, dude. They're not even living on a different planet. They're like, I feel like they're in a vegetative state.
This economic program is the single most important program for American wealth, prosperity, and rejuvenation that we've ever seen in this country.
All right, I'd love to continue the conversation. Hope to have you back on soon, Stephen. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right.
Click here to subscribe to the Fox News.
Prosperity founder and former Trump
China tariff is almost a declaration of war against us.
economic advisor, and Robert Wolf, former economic advisor to President Obama and a Fox News contributor. Great to have both of you with us today. So your headline take on where we are given the things that we just laid out. Steve, you start.
Well, I think this new tariff by China is almost like an act of declaration of war against the United States.
Yeah, when we do it, it's fine. When they retaliate, that's war. That's so funny. How could they do this to us? Yeah, they have no right. How dare they? How dare they literally respond to what we were doing and what we did?
United States. And what I'd like to see Trump do, and I know they're thinking of different strategies about how to move forward, is really aim these tariffs at the villain of the world, which is China. And maybe it might be time for pausing some of the tariffs against Europe and Canada. And look, I think Trump has a case that these countries do have a lot higher tariffs than we do, and it is not a level playing field. But right now, it looks like the whole world has to really go after China right now. And I'd like to see maybe a temporary pause on the tariffs on the rest of the world.
There's nothing funnier than saying the villain of the world is China right now. Like right now, at this very moment, this is perhaps the worst moment to say China is the villain. We are the villain of the world. What are you talking about? These guys are living on on a totally separate planet, dude. Good luck explaining to our European allies how, China is actually the real villain of the world right now. Remember? Tariffs the EU for no reason. China did this. I'll have you know, we are tariffing you because of China.
And really getting tough with China. China, I was just listening to the interview you guys did with Stephen Miller, and Stephen Miller's right. China can't survive. Their economy can't survive if they can't trade with the United States. So maybe it's time to put pressure on them.
It's interesting, Robert. Yesterday, there was a lot of talk about the first country that steps up and says, okay, pick up the phone, let's talk, we will negotiate with you, is going to be the winner in this. And the ones who come around towards the end are likely to be the losers. And today, this is what President Trump said about his call with officials from Vietnam. I just had a very productive call with To Lam, General Secretary of the Communist Party of Vietnam, who told me—
He's so funny. He's like, I bet you would hate it if I killed myself. I bet you'd be sad. I'm going to kill myself right now. You better do something. And then no one does anything. And he's like, oh, I'm doing it. I'm going through with it. Look what you made me do.
That Vietnam wants to cut their tariffs down to zero if they're able to make an agreement with us. I thanked him. I look forward to a meeting in the near future. Robert, your thoughts?
Well, my thoughts is this big, beautiful economy that actually was rolling pretty good with jobs and inflation coming down feels more like the Game of Thrones Red Wedding. I mean, it is not going well. This is being executed poorly. His economic advisors are being intellectually dishonest. Trade wars are bad. Tariffs are a tax. Consumer prices are not going down. We're a 70% a consumer-driven country. So building a moat around the United States with protectionist and isolationist economic policies are not positive. And this isn't me saying it. This is JP Morgan, 60% chance of a recession. Heritage Foundation is for free trade and thinks tariffs are poor. I think Steve and I have always been for targeted tariffs. Go after the Eurozone on auto. Go after China on steel and intellectual property. But across the board is just coming back to haunt us. Yeah. And the markets are efficient. I disagree with Secretary of State Rubio. It's not just the businesses are getting reset. They're going to actually look at what happened at Whirlpool in Iowa. They cut over.
So sad. It's so sad to see someone else live your dreams, but do it in the worst way possible. I can't stand this shit, bro. I can't stand it. Why did it have to be him? Like, I dream of a future where there's like a competent anti-capitalist administration that's doing massive jobs programs, right? Like at the federal level, they're doing eminent domain left and right. They're like, yeah, we're building factories, bitch. Oh, I'm sorry, you don't like it? Well, sucks to suck. Here, we'll pay for your farmland, right? We'll pay for your acres. But there's going to be a factory there. And that factory is going to have good paying jobs with tremendous benefits. It's going to be so good where the workers do have a say in the process that people are going to want to work in that factory. Just like America once was. We didn't do any of that stuff. We're just doing tariffs for no fucking reason. It's so annoying. I hate it. It's just like they're doing all the bad shit and none of the good shit.
Over 500 jobs.
I hear
and
you.
by the way, today, the senator of Iowa and the senator of Washington are doing a bipartisan bill to possibly take away some of the powers.
To take control back, and Congress really has not been muscular on any of these issues, even though they had the power to be, and probably should have been a long time ago. Stephen Robert, thank you.
Wait, what? Oh my God. Fox News on the fucking rhino tip? What's happening? Fox News demanding that our Congress finally do something to stop President Donald Trump? That's certainly a good sign.
Much good to have you here.
Click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most
I don't care about your fake and gay stock market collapsing boomers. You locked me in a decaying comedy block apartment over the flu and cost me my job. I'm nearly 40 in the worst job market ever in a century. Because of your greed and selfishness, I voted for this. I'm 24 and I don't care about 401ks. I mean, I'm going to be honest. Remember what I told you guys the other day about how with the Trump tariffs, people weren't going to care because they don't have stocks and they think it's bullshit? And everybody said there's no way they're going to be thinking this. There's no way they're going to.
Does Asmongold not realize that there are more people out there than the couple tweets that he saw? Does Asmongold think that this is only impacting their stock prices? Oh my God. Like the stocks are just reacting to the uncertainty of what is to come. This is going to have the reason why the stock market is reacting the way that it is because of the speculation that tariffs are going to lead to price increases. Price increases, massive inflation is going to lead to negative real wage growth. It is going to diminish purchasing power. People are going to start trying to save as much money as possible or not be able to purchase things that they would normally purchase. They're going to start consuming less. And when they start consuming less, companies are going to make less money. When companies make less money, they're going to engage in layoffs. And this downward trend, this downward spiral will repeat itself in perpetuity. The more people get laid off, the less purchasing power the American labor force has overall, which would lead to a recession and then a depression. A great one. The greatest depression of all time. Believe it, folks. Believe me. So it's not just about stock prices, even though for a lot of wealthy people, like that's the only way that they analyze what's going on. Yeah, they're losing the fake money. They're losing the fake money, sure, but it's not about the stock. It's not about the prices going stock market. It's not about the value being wiped out from the stock market that is impactful. I don't give a fuck about that. Many people don't give a fuck about that. What matters is what is yet to come.
And I think this. Well, fuck your 401ks, I want my country back. And so you're having way more people saying this because the big problem is that I think that whenever you have like a global economy and you're competing against like, let's say people from India that are willing to do the job for like 1/10 the amount of money that you're willing to do it at, or 50% or 80%, even something less extreme. Is this good for the country that is providing a platform for this to happen for?
Dude, I've never experienced such a unique moment where I literally agree with the principle. Okay? I agree with the fucking principle. Yes, this is the problem with free trade. Yes, you get it. That's great. I'm glad you get this issue. Okay? This is a major hurdle that we've cleared. But when you don't have a robust, competitive manufacturing base that was set up prior to these actions, then you just did trade protectionism for manufacturing that doesn't exist. What the fuck? As I said before, it's like you want to build a shed, okay? And a part of that is, you know, using a hammer and a saw and screws and nails, right? Trump did not go and grab the materials necessary. He didn't get the wood necessary to build the shed. There's a shed that exists already. Instead of improving the shed, he just broke it. Yeah, breaking parts of the shed is a necessity for the improvement, but you didn't fucking get the materials. You didn't get the rest of the materials to rebuild it. All you've done is just break the fucking shed, bro. Have you ever used a power tool? I have. You never seen my fucking... Have you never seen my garage, dude? We're fucking harbor freighted out the wazoo over there. Not this again. Take me down? No. You're getting shook. I'm shaking you. Yeah, it's funny to say, have you ever used a power tool to a guy like me? Normally, it does make sense to say that because I am like, I got soft hands, brother. Like, for sure, right? Except my brother is a madman who literally built a fucking CNC machine from scratch in my garage. He asked about power tools. Harbor Freight is barely power tools. Wait, what? What do you mean? No, it's not fucking barely power tools. But guys, I have a CNC machine in my garage. What are you talking about? Okay? If you think that my garage is a CNC machine, what else do you think is in there? I mean, that is like way above and beyond in comparison to whatever power tool you can think of. Like soldering shit, electric saws, like metal saws. There's just so much. The one thing I don't have is a forklift. Like literally, that's the only, ironically enough, that's the one thing. That's the only thing I don't have in my garage is a forklift. That's it. I'm almost certain we have everything else. Air compressors. Oh my God, that shit is so annoying. I can't begin to tell you the amount of times I've woken up in the middle of the night because the air compressor that he has a leak on it. So if he doesn't turn it off when he leaves, it just goes, it's the loudest thing on the planet. You think, oh my God, like a nuke has been set off in my house. The air compressors, if they have leaks in them, they just like automatically refill itself, I guess. And it just turns on in the middle of the night out of nowhere. Yeah, we got table saws. Yeah, I got a leaf blower. We got welders. I've welded. Drill press. Yes. How much do you lose in the market? I have no idea. I don't give a fuck about that shit.
And in general, I think the answer to that is no. And what's a 401k? Yeah, exactly, right? And I think this is what's happening to a lot of these people, is that people see society and they see, you know what, it's...
Yes, I have a power washer. A 3D printer? Yes, of course I have a 3D printer. I have a CNC machine, which is the OG version. I have everything. I have all the power tools. I'm glad that this chatter asked me what kind of tools I have. The only thing I don't have is a tractor, and like I don't have a tractor, I don't have a forklift, I don't have that kind of stuff, but pretty much everything else I have. This is how you know bro has no motion no more. Elon Musk said he hopes for a zero tariff system between the US and Europe that would effectively create a free trade zone. Yeah, I mean, he's double cooked. He's cooked on the tech front. EU regulations incoming for Twitter, which, you know, great. It should happen. And he's cooked on the Tesla front as well. I mean, he's already cooked on the Tesla front. You doesn't fuck with Teslas. Everything's computer. I love Tesla.
I don't really like using a lot of like movie comparisons because it's a movie, but like it's like the end of Fight Club, right? Where like all the banks get destroyed and all the debt is wiped out, all the credits wiped out, everything's wiped out. The idea that, and why was that so popular among young men? Even then it was. The reason why is that I think that there is a prevailing idea that young men have, that they are born into a rigged system that's actively working against them. And when they see things like, you know, scholarship opportunities for people who have an identity that's different than theirs, like being women or something like that, they kind of are. Well, that's not the point, right? The point is, see, like, it doesn't matter it doesn't matter what's true. It matters what people think is true. And so this is what people think is true. And so, yeah, globalists hate us. Exactly.
I hate I hate that he says the quiet part out loud so much. He's like, narrative is more important than the truth. Also, yeah, bro did not watch Fight Club, or if he did not understand the point. Who takes advice from this guy? Tens of thousands of people. He commands the attention of 50,000 of the sweatiest fucking dudes you've ever met, your coworkers. He absolutely is like, he is the Joe Rogan, or fills the Joe Rogan void of, he fills the Joe Rogan void of like guys who are too nerdy for BJJ and cops, apparently. Coworkers and cops. Dudes be watching an anti-neoliberalism movie and thinks it's about DEI. Yeah. Actually, the only people I know who watch him are unemployed. Yeah. Anyway, this is a ridiculous way to approach the subject matter. There's a lot that he's just like not addressing, and I don't know if it's because he doesn't know the impact that these terrorists will have. But what's always frustrating is hearing about these guys talk about rebuilding American manufacturing, something that I have spent so much time on, something that I've advocated for my whole fucking professional career. Something that I very clearly put my money where my mouth is on as well. And it's like, I work with these labor unions. I work with American manufacturers. I work with unionized American manufacturers. Okay? And what is so frustrating about this is that Trump is not doing that. Trump is not doing the stuff that you have to do to be able to even entertain the notion of tariffs. That's what's frustrating about it. And without doing the groundwork, without actually building the manufacturing, the manufacturing hub that America is supposed to be, all you're doing is just instituting a fucking broad sales tax on the working poor.
And so this is the reason why you see so much support for the Trump tariffs.
Like trade protectionism, there's no support for the Trump tariffs. He's also wrong. He's in a hug box where he thinks that there's like broad support for the Trump tariffs. There's no broad support for the Trump tariffs. There's not even broad support from the Republican Party for the Trump tariffs. They are kind of terrified of Donald Trump, so they don't want to speak out of turn. But even then, they're still like kind of going, Mr. President, what are you doing? You're really fucking us up here. Please, Mr. President, don't kill us. What are you doing? Trade protectionism works if there's something to protect. Trade protectionism without actual trade on the domestic front is nothing. It's just a broad sales tax that you implemented. It is interesting seeing him have the same confidence when describing these issues, though, as he does like when he's talking about, like, I don't know, transmont competitions or whatever. And that is probably a part of where this appeal comes from, where people want to hear from someone who is confident and it makes them feel good, like he knows what he's talking about. And I think in that process, especially because it's directionally along the Trump regime, people are desperate. Kind of like how liberals would go to, I don't know, like a David Pacman in the Kamala Harris campaign to hear things about how good it actually was, how good the campaign was. I think that is what he's doing. That's the role he's playing for a lot of Republicans. The role I think Asmongold's playing right now is a person that will confirm the biases that you have, a person that will tell you like, no, Trump is actually based. He's doing this for good reason, and everyone likes it, actually. And it leads people to entertain these delusions. It leads people to entertain delusions. It leads people down this very weird path where they're so biased that they can't see the world outside of their own implicit biases. And it's ironic because people say that about me all the time, but I spend a good deal of my commentary looking directly at what the right wing is saying, and also have an antagonistic relationship with the liberal side of politics as well. So there's never really an opportunity for me to confirm biases that I might have, because they're never demonstrated by any party in the administration. So that's why it's frustrating when people engage in that kind of projection, but it's doubly frustrating when I see it happening in real time. What he's doing is basically telling, like, as a yes man for the admin, he's basically telling people who are desperate to hear something positive from any outlet that they can get, something positive about Trump's tariffs.
Because people look at, for example, like if you look at the stock market, let me just pull it up. It's the first graph I can find, right? And so anyway, if you zoom in, let me go back. We'll do like right here. So this is in the last year. So a lot of the gains that happened in the stock market, especially after like in 2020 here, a lot of these gains were amounts of money that were gained inside of the top 1% of the population.
Oh my God, he's right. Oh my God. How is he right, but also so wrong at the same time? It's like I'm losing my mind because Trump is doing left populism in his speech, but not with actual policy. So if you're pro-Trump unconditionally, you're going to engage in that left populism. Maybe that even actually works for you. But the problem here is not the problem here is not what Trump is saying. The problem here is what Trump is doing without examining the actual market, without examining the actual material conditions.
And I think what you're going to see here, and this is what the tariffs are showing you, is that we are going to have a convergence of people who are, you know, basically extremely nationalistic, and they want the country to act in their best interest and not in the best interest of like some.
You can't say the stock market is immaterial and then turn around, say it's going to rebound and it's going to be good because people are nationalistic and they want manufacturing. You can't have people wish a factory, okay? If that was the case, I would have fucking used my mind power to just beam Detroit back to its fucking glory days overnight. I'd be like, oh, I'm thinking Pittsburgh. Okay, steel industry, it's back. Oh, boom. All of a sudden, factories everywhere. Like, that's not how it works. You need to build it, man. Like, what the fuck? It's just funny because what are they doing? The secret. They're just going to manifest factories all around the country. No, that takes time. There's also training that needs to take place so that you can have the properly trained labor force to be able to work in those fucking assembly lines. Oh my God. You need to train people to even build the fucking factories too. Jesus Christ. I don't understand what you're saying. What I'm saying is we do not have the manufacturing base as it stands currently, and the time that it would take to rebuild an even competitive manufacturing base in this country would be at least a decade if, and that's a big if, we got our shit together. What did you bring me? Of course I ate already. Bro, I would have died if I didn't eat. Whoa, what did you get? No, I'm going to eat it. I'm still hungry. I'm watching Asmongold right now spit. What? Show me. It's not pizza. Is it lahmacun? Is it lahmacun? It's like Turkish pizza. Probably is lahmacun. No, it is pizza. Never mind. Why is this box fucked up? Oh, you know, it's pizza, but with like za'atar, I think, right? Which slice is better? Oh.
It's so fucking good. This is yellow in Georgetown. Palestinian.
Oh. Let me see the baklava. Okay, that looks pretty good. Oh my God. Damn, this shit looks bomb, dude. It ain't mine. Oh. Thank you for bringing this, guys. This is amazing. No. What? Bro. DC is 2 for 2. So much. I had Brussels sprouts, which are pretty good. I had a goat cheese tart that was delectable. I had a club sandwich that was bad. Straight up. It wasn't good. But the goat cheese tart was so good that it just like didn't matter. Oh God, I could hear him farting. Oh my God, Alex. Oh my God. Oh, my man really needed to go. He's laughing. Don't laugh, you animal. Really? He's like, oh, I can't wait to shit. I mean, it's not my bathroom. Also, he stayed at my house. What kind of punishment did he put on my bathroom at my home? He's laughing. Stop laughing. Rate the fart. It's wet. Yeah, he's pooping in front of 35,000 people out of his dookie ass. All right, I'm gonna try the baklava now. It's a little bit fried, I'll be honest. It's a little too burnt, but we'll see. Oh my God. With the salt? Excellent. Very good. Wow. Bro, I'm never shit talking DC food. God damn. I hit a lucky streak. I think I hit a very lucky streak, and I don't think it's like broadly representative of DC food in general, but god damn. I still think Turkish baklava is obviously better. It clears, but having said that, this is very good. All right, last but not least, let's try the olive oil cake. I love olive oil cake. Let's see. It's got pistachio coverings all over it. Oh, baby. Oh, it's heavy. Oh, it's good. Great packaging too. Wow. Incredible. Remarkable. A delight. I would give the pizza an 8.5 out of 10. I would give the baklava also a 8.7 out of 10. The olive oil cake, I would give it 8 out of 10, which is really high marks for the record. Really, really high marks. Let's continue.
Global, international company. And you're going to see that happen. And you're going to see a convergence of that with like extreme left, like economic policy. And we're already seeing this happening. And so this is the reason why they don't care about the stock market. It's because the stock market represents a bunch of rich people that control everything, who these people look at.
Dog, the stock market is irrelevant in this conversation. I mean, it sucks for boomers. It sucks for working class people who are losing their 401ks. But the stock market is negligible in comparison to what is yet to come. Massive price increases, a cost of affordability crisis, a cost of living crisis, paired up with a recession and mass layoffs that spiral completely out of control. Yeah, Trump demands are like trying to build on quicksand. Exactly. All right, I tell you about DC food is GOAT, and there's so much more you haven't tried. Hit me up next time you're in town. No, I believe it now. I'm not kidding when I tell you that his audience is more upset about trans athletes and the DEI than the economy. Look at the subreddit. EU admits climate funds were used against conservatives. What? I don't understand why you sent me Asmongold subreddit. Looking at it, bro. You gotta get it. Are you guys sleeping in the same bed without me? That's fucked up. These guys are doing gay stuff without me. I'm so washed. What? By the way, when do we? Wait, what the fuck? Should we be getting ready? How much more time do we have? Sure. You looked it up for sure. Okay. All right. Okay. Stop yelling, dude. Don't yell the name of the airport or anything like that. All right.
As the ones who've ruined their
The
lives.
fuck?
So why the fuck would a young guy who doesn't have any stocks and they feel like they, this is like if you're a young man, it's hard for you to get a job. There are, systematic ways that you're disenfranchised or denied opportunities. And on like the culture, it seems like it's okay to make fun of young men and other things that are similar to that. No stocks, fuck them. Exactly. They want revenge. Yes, exactly. Rust Belt revenge. That's exactly it. And so this is the reason why you see so many people supporting the Trump tariffs. And this is the part that a lot of people won't say out loud.
Dog, the amount of support for the Trump tariffs is minimal. Okay? Even from the people who support Trump, there is an understandable anxiety coming from them because they're scared about the cost of living going up crazy style in the short term. It's not about the stocks. I don't know why he's hyper focusing on the stocks. Like, I guess it's about the stocks because Republicans only care about it. I don't know. The stocks are the initial indication that things are falling apart. As I've said over and over again, the gains in the stock market are privatized, but the losses are socialized. So when the stock market is doing well, you're not really going to experience that. You're going to get maybe a crumb in your 401k. But when the stock market plummets, you will experience the impact because you're going to get fucking fired. Tying this back up to like the male loneliness epidemic or whatever the fuck, or DEI is insane. There is some truth to what Asmongold is saying in terms of like how men feel, young men feel. He's not wrong about that front. Like a lack of hope, assuming that their future is completely broken, paired up with an educational crisis for young men in particular, because there is a disparity there, right? Because it's not like women or young women are having an easy go at this market, right? That's not the case. But young men are fucked up from an early age because they're not even getting the same educational attainment as young women are. So their opportunities are even more diminished. Like young women go and work at a shitty job after getting a college degree. Young men have even less shitty jobs to work at because they don't even get the college degree. So there is a real feeling of resentment. That part is correct. I agree with what Asmongold is saying. The issue, however, is that he's not redirecting that resentment towards things that matter, and instead, he's redirecting that resentment towards things that don't matter. Hyper-focusing on DEI and all the other externalities that the Republican Party shifts people's attention towards in an effort to further destabilize the economy, in an effort to keep stealing from the working poor. And it works. It works incredibly successfully. As long as you go, yeah, based, DEI, it's die. DEI is getting died. It's killing DEI. We like it. We're done with the wokes. It's revenge time. Which is also ironic for Asmongold to say because, like, he's not even in the financial instability that, like, many of his young male fans are. You know, he is very financially stable. It's not like he also experiences the resentment and the frustration of, like, the manufacturing moving overseas so that you never will be able to get a good paying union job in a Rust Belt town. Like, you're a Twitch streamer, you know what I mean? And so am I. So you can make the argument like, well, Hassan, how can you say you understand it? Well, because I work with these people. I want to actually build a robust manufacturing base in the United States of America. This is kind of my whole goal, my job. This is all I do. So as someone who wants this, I looked at what Donald Trump is doing with first resentment and anger and then with envy because he gets to break the system, but not even build it. He just gets to break it. And the breaking of the system part is, I think, harder than building. So the fact that he can get the hard part across and have no interest in the comparatively easier part of, like, spending money and building fucking factories is so frustrating.
Damn, this guy's good.